I am falling apart today. Not because I'm stressed, but because of the release of stress. And that's something that I don't think mental health professionals and the wellness community talk about enough. That if you are neurotic, if you're under a lot of stress, and you store that stress physically within your body, you don't just go from super stressed to super relaxed. Like, there is a gap where it feels like the stress is being wrenched from your bones and your joints and your muscles between your stressful event is over and you're not stressed anymore. So today I'm going to talk about that because that's what I'm going through right now, and I just feel like it's something important to talk about. So this video is the 2-month culmination of my last 2 videos, and I edited everything out of order, and it just kind of worked out that way, I guess, that my last 2 videos led up to this one. So yesterday was the ultimate decision in the problem that we were dealing with. Now, I'm not going to air all our dirty laundry online because I have respect for myself and I have respect for my husband, so I'm not going to get into all the details. But what I will say is, hi sweetie, I love you, that the guy we've been dealing with, who was essentially going to cause us problems, whose decision it was, like how bad we were gonna get it, essentially. He was not there yesterday. And I am neurotic, so I hold stress and tension within my body. And I hold it in my shoulders and my neck, which can lead to like headaches over time, and it can leach out of my shoulders into my arms. I also get like chest pains sometimes just from my shoulders being so tense. I also get it in my hips, which can lead to sciatica and pudendal nerve pain based on like how I'm sitting if I'm just too tense. And like, I'll admit, not last month, but the first month all this happened, I felt numbness in my leg because of how tense I was, and I had to try and like mitigate that stress. I had to try and not be as like physically tense from it because I could tell that it was negatively affecting me, and I did have to take some steps to like mitigate that. But ultimately, I spent the last 2 months just like in my head going over and over the worst case scenarios and the best case scenarios too, because obviously there's a best case scenario that could have happened, and ultimately the like second best scenario happened that I didn't know was the thing. Like, I didn't think about that in my head, but ultimately the guy who was going to make the decision that would cause us the problem was not there yesterday. He couldn't make it. And the guy who had to fill in for him was pissed off. He did not want to work. So he was very favorable to us. He was just like, look, let's do this instead. We're going to get money back. We're going to have like an easier time with everything. Cujo, stop it, baby. Don't hit the camera. Come on. Okay. Come here. And ultimately, the long-term consequences are going to be like almost non-existent compared to what the worst case scenario was going to be if the like original guy who was causing us problems had showed up. So I am beyond relieved. I'm beyond relieved, and the amount of stress that has been released from my body and released from my brain is so significant that when we got home last night, I crawled back into bed and I didn't get up for hours. I even told my husband, like, I can't make dinner tonight, we're gonna have to order. And it was kind of pathetic. Like, it was so bad, I was having a hard time just rolling over in the bed to look at his phone to order food. Like, it was that bad. And then like the rest of the night I couldn't do anything. Like, I'm working on a big ol' crochet blanket right now. That's my project I'm into, and I had plans for it, and I just couldn't. I couldn't do anything more with it last night because I was just shutting down physically because of how bad the stress was affecting me before yesterday. And ultimately, I was able to get a really good sleep last night, and I think that is one of the best things to do when you're stressed, but when you're dealing with the after effects of stress, like I'm talking about in this video, is it's good to get sleep. Like, you have to sleep it off. You have to let your body recover, because being so tense all the time and feeling like the physical, ow, dude, feeling the physical, Cujo, you're crazy. When you're dealing with physical effects of stress that are so bad, you can't just release them all at once. Like, it takes time. You have to give yourself time to recover. You have to give your body time to recover. And that's what I'm trying to do, I guess, going forward, is I'm trying to get good sleep, trying to eat well, trying to enjoy things. Like, I'm gonna go work on my crochet blanket later today. I'm playing with my cat over here, who you probably can't see because he's always just right off camera, but he's adorable, and I'm getting, you know, cat loving and scratch him and play with him, and he purrs, and you know, it's good and it's regenerative. And I think that's just something that maybe they don't talk about enough with stress relief, because people like to say, oh, here's the way to prevent stress, here's the way to relieve stress, but nobody really talks about how to relieve the physical effects. I got him. Here's my cutie. Nobody ever talks about how to relieve the physical effects, the lingering effects of tension when you're no longer stressed. Because I feel like that's a very different feeling, because I'm not tense anymore. Like, this is not a tense stress. This is my body is giving up and I'm lethargic. I have no energy. Although I have a little more because I slept last night. But like, it's really a different feeling of stress. It's not like I'm angry and need to calm down. Like, I dealt with that 2 months ago. Like, that is not affecting me anymore. What's affecting me is like reeling from all this and trying to move on from it without getting hung up on what has already happened, or replaying what the worst case scenario could have been, because I know that's not gonna happen anymore because the second best case scenario happened. And I think ultimately for me, because I've been through this scenario a few times now with various issues, because like I said, I get stressed out about a lot of things, and I've had this happen multiple times, is it probably takes me about a month or two to fully release all the stress that I had. And this was like a 2-month thing, so maybe it won't take that long, because like I'm saying 2 months might be if I was stressed for a few years. Or maybe if you're stressed for a few years, like your whole life, it could take a year to de-stress. I'm thinking it'll probably take like a week or two, since it was a fairly short period of time this time. But yeah, I'm gonna focus on just trying to get up, trying to do positive things, trying to do things I enjoy, and trying not to let the fatigue get to me, trying to not let the just I want to lounge around and do nothing get to me, because I know ultimately that would make me physically feel worse if I just acted like, you know, a bagworm. That's kind of what I felt like last night. If I just act like a bagworm, I'm gonna have a problem. And so, I don't know, maybe this video didn't make sense to you, maybe it did, but if you guys are dealing with a similar kind of stress, if you hold stress within your body, and when that stress is released, if it's supposed to be released, you still hold on to it, you're not the only one. And if you're looking for a way out of it, just rest, take care of yourself, and do things you enjoy. Like, don't let it drag you down just because you're still physically feeling the effects of that stress. Like, it takes a little bit of body movement to like break up, I guess, all the lactic acid that builds up when you're stressed, and like break up all those hormones, and like get out and do something. Maybe go outside for like 10 minutes, go outside for an hour and enjoy some fresh air, which I'm probably gonna do a little bit later today. Kojo! He's such a noise. Give your cat a hug, give your dog a hug if you have one. And I'll see you guys next time.